Yes, that's me. That is correct. Nice to meet you. Wish it was under better circumstances, but.
I don't think I've ever met an NTSB investigator under good circumstances.
Unfortunately.
Where are you based out of?
DC.
They don't have investigators.
We do. We're kind of scattered all over, but our headquarters is DC.
Good.
Thank you for joining us. My name's Jennifer Homendy, and I'm a board member with the National Transportation Safety Board. The NTSB is an independent federal agency charged by Congress with investigating every civil aviation accident in the United States and significant accidents in other modes of transportation. Our mission, and it's our mission here while we're on scene, is to determine how this happened, why it happened, and what safety improvements are needed to prevent it from ever happening again. Before I begin, on behalf of the NTSB, I'd like to extend our deepest condolences to those who lost loved ones in this tragic event. This was a terrible tragedy, and I cannot imagine what the families are going through right now. And so our hearts go out to each and every one of you. I'd also like to take a moment to thank our partners. First and foremost, the U.S. Coast Guard. I'd also like to thank the Santa Barbara Sheriff's Office, the Ventura Fire Department, and a host of law enforcement and local officials that have helped with the rescue and recovery operations. What I want to focus on today is the role of the NTSB, our team that is here, and talk a bit about the process. First, the responsibilities and who is doing what. We have determined this is a major marine casualty, and the NTSB will be leading the investigation. However, the Coast Guard is a party to the investigation, and the Coast Guard has enforcement authority over these vessel operations, so they will be conducting their own safety investigation and enforcement investigation, and the two entities will be coordinating along the way. As far as our team, our investigator in charge is Adam Tucker. Adam has been working in the Office of Marine Safety at the National Transportation Safety Board for some time. In addition, he has significant experience first fire that we have investigated on board a small passenger vessel. This past December 11th, 2018, the board approved a report of an accident investigation involving a fire aboard a small passenger vessel near Port Richey in Florida. Additional information on that can be found through our website where the report is posted. In addition to the investigators, we have three staff from our family assistance team that is working with the response community to provide the families with the resources and the information that they need. As far as our process, the NTSB arrived on scene at 10 a.m. today, Pacific Daylight Time. We immediately received a very thorough briefing from the U.S. Coast Guard. where we began to get a lay of the land, and then we began to organize our thoughts around the investigation and our process. Tonight, we will have an organizational meeting where we will likely establish parties to the investigation. Parties mean individuals that have technical expertise that help us obtain the factual information that we need in order to conduct our safety investigation. In addition to that, we will likely form investigative groups. These are smaller groups that will drill down on specific aspects of the investigation. We've also begun to identify witnesses and others that we would like to interview and document the types of materials that we need to obtain as part of the investigation. We expect to be on scene about 7 to 10 days. During that time, our investigators will be collecting the perishable evidence. We will not be determining the cause of the fire while on scene. That comes later in the investigative process. Nor will we speculate on the cause. However, we will provide factual information as it becomes available. So I'd like to direct everyone to monitor our Twitter feed at NTSB_newsroom, where we will be posting when we will have the daily press briefings. In addition to that, we are asking the public for some help. We are asking for photos, videos, or any other information that you think will help us in the safety investigation. Please email us at witness@ntsb.gov. That's witness@ntsb.gov. With that, I'm going to take a couple of questions. Please raise your hand. I'll call on you, and then give me your name and your affiliation. No, we won't. The question is, how will we begin? Will we wait until the boat or the vessel comes out of the water? No, our investigation has already begun. We've already begun having discussions, like I said, with our fantastic partners, the U.S. Coast Guard and others. We've begun to obtain factual information and documents. We've reached out to develop a list of people that we would like to interview. And as I said, the investigation actually began before we even arrived on scene. It's just we try not to arrive while rescue and recovery is ongoing. Yes. Yes.
I want to ask you a two-part question. First of all, and I know you're limited in what you can say, I'll go through that. We'd like you to say more than you can. But can you tell us generally what key questions you want to see answered in this investigation? And number two, can you tell us, give us an idea of who you want to interview?
The question is, what key questions are we going to want to ask, and what types of people are we going to want to interview? I'll take the second one first. We're going to want to interview the surviving crew members. We're going to want to interview the companies that were involved. We'll want to interview, for example, the first responders, certainly the Coast Guard and others. As far as the key questions that we want to get answered, I think it's a bit early to tell on what key questions we want to be answered. What I will say, for example, there is information that we will want to obtain. We look at the vessel, we look at the crew, the operations, and we look at the environment in which they're operating. So obviously we're going to want to look at training. That includes firefighter training. We're going to look at survival factors. We're going to want to know what fire extinguishers were on board. We're going to want to know were there life jackets on board, were there lifeboats. That's the type of information we're going to want to find out. Yes.
intel dump you've gotten so far? Have you talked with any of the dive teams, or have people talked to the dive teams, those who've seen what's on the boat, get a physical layout of what happened to it, any photographs they may have taken? Has any of that material come to your people so far?
The question is, have we talked to the dive teams and have we received information? I think I'm going to ask Adam to talk about that.
To answer your question, no, we have not spoken to any of the dive teams. From what I understand, they're still in an active recovery right now.
Right. And while they're in, and just to add to that, while they're in recovery mode, that's not something we want to interfere with. That's the first priority is rescue and recovery. Our investigation is always second. But we will be doing that along the way at some point. Yes.
So, based on what you know so far, how confident are you that you'll ultimately be able to come up with a cause of this fire?
I am 100% confident that our investigators will determine the cause of this fire, why it occurred, how it occurred, and what is needed to prevent it from happening again. Absolutely. Yes.
From our experience for prior transportation disasters, how long will it take to have the results of your investigation?
How long will it take for the results of the investigation? It typically takes between 12 and 24 months to get a final report. What I will tell you is that we issue a preliminary report within about 10 days of the accident, in this case the fire, and in between that time, we have many times issued urgent safety recommendations when we feel that there is a safety concern that needs to be addressed. So that's something we can and have done in the past, and we don't wait for the end to do that. Yes.
Stephanie, to ask you a question. Is there a, on this type of vessel, will there be a kind of black box that would aid in your investigation? And what's the thing that you think will help determine cause and origin in a boat that's pretty much, wreckage at this point?
The question is there a black box? Do you want to talk about that in the day call? Yeah, go ahead.
Regarding the black box, there is no requirement for a vessel of that size to have a black box on board. Furthermore, we have not been informed that the vessel was fitted voluntarily with a black box.
Correct. What was the second part?
What are the difficulties in determining a cause and origin of a fire in a boat that's wrecked and been underwater? It's probably going to be a couple days.
Well, we have a great deal of experience when there is wreckage in determining what happened, and that can come through interviews, other information that we obtain. So I have full confidence that we'll be able to determine what happened regardless of the structure.
Do you know if this one has lawyers? If there's anyone?
I don't know, but thank you. Appreciate the time.
For the next few days, we'll be doing daily press conferences as long as the information comes. We'll be trying to do daily press. We'll be doing daily press conferences for at least for the next few days. And you can follow us on Twitter at NTSB_newsroom, where the next press briefing will be, details will be put on there.
And you spell Jennifer's last name?
Sure, Jennifer Homendy, HOM as in Mary, ENDY.
And the app?
And she's a NTSB board member.